First of all, thank you so much for having me here. I think I would really, first of all, like to thank Sharif that he thought I was worthy enough to be sitting next to you and having a conversation with you.
It's the other way around.
No.
No, because he knows that I'm the product of a beauty pageant, and I'm just glad that he finally acknowledged my cerebral abilities. So grateful. So I think the conversation around colorism has been a very essential and a crucial part of my life because when I became Miss Tiki India, there was a lot of conversation and conjecture around how a brown participant or a participant that dark should not be representing us abroad. And through one of your interviews, I also got to know that when you were about to publish Color Matters, there was some restriction and friction around whether you should go ahead and actually publish the book or not. Why do you think people are still continuing to be a little oblivious to the fact that colorism exists very much around us?
I think it's one of those where, okay, let me answer the question slightly differently. When I went out to publish Color Matters, most publishers told me, or actually some of the leading publishers said, is it really a problem? Is it really a problem in India? We are so homogeneous, right? And so my question to this publisher was, where are you from? So I'm from Delhi. And with the surname, in India, anyway, the surname gives away so much. So you're a Punjabi? Yes. From Delhi? Yes. Born and brought up in Delhi? Yes. So I said, thank you very much. Because you will not understand what it is. Pardon me, there's nothing wrong with the Punjabis. My husband is a Punjabi, I'm not. But you will not understand what it feels to be a minority. And if you don't understand the dilemma of a minority, then you will not empathize with the topic. So I think, the challenge with colorism is we are very ingrained into what is good or bad. And we have grown up thinking this is good or bad. It's a gospel of truth. And that's how life is. So what are we challenging? Because we don't believe there is anything wrong in that. We believe being fair, being white is a good thing, and being brown or dark is a not so good thing. In fact, I would actually encourage you. There's a very beautiful doll experiment on YouTube. If you just Google doll experiment, and there's an Italian version where 5-year-old children are brought in and they're shown a black and white doll. And these 5 children are largely black, brown and white. So 2 browns, 2 blacks, 1 white. And they say, which is a white doll? Black doll. Obvious answer. Which is a good one? Everybody says the white one. Bad one? Black one. Which is angel? White one. Which is devil? The black one. What do you look like? The 4 brown and black said like the black one. So imagine they're growing up thinking this is associated with dark or brown. This is 5-year-olds. So, there is less now, right now in the media in that sense. But there is something in the social fabric which continues to reinforce what is right or wrong. And hence I had a lot of challenges because people were a little worried about the topic and, the riot it can create.
You've also spoken about how you define color in the book, and I think I really like the fact that you made the conversation so positive and so optimistic. If you could just a little elaborate on how you define color for yourself.
So color, in the book actually, I'll come to color, but my book is a narration between me and my children. In our global journey, I had a child in the US and the other one in England. So my daughter is very American and my son is very British and I'm visibly Indian. I'm very happy to be an Indian. But we talk different accents and we talk different English. So when you see us together, we look a bunch of morons who are talking quite differently. In fact, when they were younger, a lot of people on the airports used to think कि किसी और के बच्चे उठा के ले आई हूँ. My husband is more, he's Canadian, so my children are much fairer. So I clearly look like their nanny most of the time, or I was construed to be their nanny. And now that they're flying away to college, I've kind of dedicated this book to the kids because the whole narration is to a mother talking to her 2 children who are about to fly off in the world, and how would you battle racism, because it will happen in some ways. So color for me represents 6 different things. It's C for connect, and I think I kind of kept alluding to it. O for openness, to mind, to heart, to other people who may be different. L for love, which is encompassing foundation for any relationship. O for objectivity, letting not biases creep in. To the extent you're aware of your biases, fair, brown, dark, don't let that creep in. It's going to be tough, but try. U for understanding, having some bit of understanding and respect for each other's views. And R for resilience. I think being a woman of color, having worked globally, what kept me going is resilience. It hasn't been easy. I've had enough and more people out there, pushing me out, but being resilient helped me keeping on the path.
That's wonderful. I think just out of curiosity, this is going to be my last question. So, I grew up in an atmosphere where my aunts were conventionally not as fair as my aunts were of my. I have three grandfathers. We had a close knitted family, and my grandfather, he had daughters who were conventionally not as fair as the other ones were, and so was I not. I was not conventionally white, and I think I grew up with that sense of understanding that maybe I'm perhaps a little lesser than my fairer counterparts. When do you think you realized in your personal journey that you were perhaps different, and did it ever come from your parents or the way you were brought up, other than the fact that of course the society of course anyway makes you believe in that?
So when you grow up as a child and people tell you chai mat piyo kale ho jate hain, right? It starts very early in the families, and my mother is dark, my father is slightly fairer, if I may say. So I think one of the incidents in a lighter way comes to my mind is, my husband and I were seeing each other, and we were not sure whether we will get married or not, but the relationship was really serious. We were actually in Delhi. I don't belong to Delhi, but I was visiting. And since my parents were here, I said, okay, why don't I drop by to say hello to my parents? They knew about him. So we were on a bike, and because he's quite fair, he was looking quite rosy, and I was looking like a kala bhoot. And we enter my house. We were in a hotel, and we enter the hotel, and my mother, who's a doctor by the way, so well educated, looked at my boyfriend then, or my to-be husband, and I think was like just completely wow, right? And she looked at him and said, what a good-looking guy, what, you have arrived, like this is it, okay, tumhara to nirvana ho gaya. You could see that, look on her face, okay? And I'm looking at her, and, and she was like besotted. And so she was having a chat, and I just went into the room to drop my bag, and she's like, oh, what a lovely boy and all that. I said, in 7 minutes, what lovely boy? I mean, you don't even know him well enough. He's got many issues. So she was like, no, honestly, she was like, IIT Delhi hai, MBA hai, fair hai, ho gaya. And then, so since where my parents were staying was close to, he said, why don't you drop by, say hi to my mom? So I was literally in my jeans and a t-shirt, and I started walking out, and my mom looked at me and said, where are you going? I said, I'm going to say hi to his mom. He's like, aise jaogi? Wash your face, do something. She was paranoid that I will go meet his mom. She will look at me like this. My husband is a Punjabi, so please remember that. And that would be the end of this relationship. Okay? So this is my personal life, and I have narrated this incident in a little more detail in the book, and she hasn't forgiven me till date about that. But I did go to his house, and I did meet his mother, and there was silence. And till date, for the sake of world peace, my husband hasn't told me what his mother told him that day.
Perfect. Thank you so much for being in conversation with us, Anuranjita.
Thank you. Pleasure.